Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Harshita from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. In this video, let us discuss about the essentials of biodiversity. Let us see the definition of the biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to the variety of life forms on the earth. It includes the diversity at genetic, species, and ecosystem levels. Biodiversity is essential for the functioning of the ecosystem and for the human well. Let us see the importance of the biodiversity. Biodiversity provides ecosystem services such as clean air and water and the climate regulation. It supports security by providing diverse crops and livestock. Biodiversity contributes to the cultural and spiritual values and the recreational opportunities. Let us see the threats to biodiversity. Habit destruction through deforestation, urbanization, and the agriculture is major threat to the biodiversity. Climate change is causing shifts in habits and in the ecosystem. Pollution, over exploitation of the resources also pose significant threats to the biodiversity. Next, let us see the conservation of the biodiversity. Conservation efforts includes protected areas and the substituent resource management. Biodiversity monitoring and research helps in understanding threats and guiding conservation actions. Collaboration among governments, organizations, and local community is crucial for effective biodiversity conservation. Next, let us see the genetic diversity. Genetic diversity within species allows for adaptation to changing environments and disease resistance. It is important for maintaining healthy population and genetic variation. Next, let us see the species diversity. Species diversity refers to the various different species within a ecosystem. It increases ecosystem stability and resilience to environmental changes. Next, let us see the ecosystem diversity. Ecosystem diversity includes different habitats and ecosystem on Earth. It includes various services such as nutrient cycling, water filtration, and climate regulation. Preserving diversity ecosystem ensures the well-being of all the species and the functioning of the planet. Next, let us see the role of the biodiversity in climate change. Biodiversity helps in regulating the Earth's climate through carbon and the storage. Healthy ecosystems can mitigate the impacts of the climate change by providing natural buffers. Conservation and restoration of the biodiversity can contribute to the climate change adaptation and the mitigation impact. Next, let us see the biodiversity hotspots. Biodiversity hotspots are the region with high levels of species richness. They are priority areas for conservation due to their unique biodiversity. Protecting biodiversity hotspots helps in safeguarding a significant portion of the global biodiversity. Next, let us see the benefits of the biodiversity to the human health. Biodiversity provides essential ecosystem services that supports the human health such as clean air, water and food. Medicines derived from the plant and animal contribute to the parasitical and traditional medicine. Next, let us see the sustainable use of biodiversity. Sustainable use of biodiversity involves the managing resources in a way that meets current needs without compromising future generation. Involving local communities in sustainable resources management ensures the long-term viability of the ecosystem. Next, let us see the biodiversity education and the awareness. Education and the awareness arising efforts are essential for promoting the understanding, the appreciation of the biodiversity. Increasing the awareness about the value of biodiversity helps in mobilizing the support for conservation actions. Next, let us see the biodiversity and sustainable development goals. Biodiversity conservation is closely linked to achieving various sustainable development goals such as zero hunger, clean water, and climate action. Balancing economic development with biodiversity conservation is a key to achieve the sustainable development goals. Next, let us see the biodiversity and indigenous knowledge. Indigenous peoples have traditional knowledge and practices that contribute to the biodiversity conservation. Their cultural values and spiritual beliefs are closely to the nature and the biodiversity. Recognizing and respecting the indigenous rights and knowledge is crucial for effective biodiversity conservation. Next, let us see the biodiversity and economic value. Biodiversity supports economic activities such as agriculture, forestry, fishery, and tourism. Ecosystem services provided by the biodiversity have significant economic value. Investing in biodiversity conservation yields long-term benefits for economic through sustainable resource management and ecosystem restoration. Next, let us see the global initiatives for biodiversity conservation. International agreements such as the Convention on the Biological Diversity aim to promote biodiversity conservation and sustainable use. Targets such as ACHI biodiversity targets and the post 2020 global biodiversity framework guide global conservation efforts. Collaboration among countries, organizations, and the stockholders is essential for achieving the global biodiversity goals. Next, let us see the citizen science and the biodiversity monitoring. Citizen science program involve the public in collecting data on biodiversity, contributing to the research and monitoring efforts. Monitoring biodiversity trends helps in assessing the effectiveness of the conservation measures. Engaging citizens in biodiversity monitoring promotes environmental awareness. Next, let us see the technical and innovation in biodiversity conservation. Technologies such as remote sensing, DNA barcoding, and GIS mapping aids in monitoring and studying the biodiversity. Innovative approaches like artificial intelligence and big data analysis helps in identifying patterns and trends threats in the biodiversity. Next, let us see the future goals and opportunities in biodiversity conservation. Addressing the roots cause of biodiversity loss such as unsustainable land use, climate change, and pollution remains a challenge. Finally, I conclude that biodiversity is essential for the health of the ecosystem, human well being, and the planet's resilience. Conservation of the biodiversity requires collective action, sustainable practices, and a deep appreciation for the value of nature. Protecting and preserving biodiversity is a shaped responsibility that benefits present and the future generation. Thank you for watching this video.